So today is a little bit of a different kind of video. I'm actually going to try and complete a build within a day or a weekend. My family celebrates a sort of little Christmas in July, and this year we have to hand make each other something. So we're about to head to our local hardware store, which is Bunnings, to get some supplies. I really want to talk about how good 3D printing is. What makes 3D printing so good? I'm about to show you. Hey friends, in today's build, we are going to be experimenting with 3D printing. Now, 3D printers have been around for a long time and they keep getting better and better. I picked up about 2 years ago a Bamboo A1 Labs 3D printer, and that has been my daily driver, I guess you could say, that I've used. I haven't been using my resin printers anywhere near as much as this filament printer, and for the pure reason I can make and build a lot of different things that are actually helpful for me and my life. Let me show you some examples. Back scratcher. This thing is awesome. Pill containers. Props for Dungeons and Dragons. Coins that I was talking about. See? Just white filament, painted up within a day. This is my laptop stand. Well, one of them. I 3D printed it because I thought it looked cool, and you know, it took like 4 hours to 3D print this, and now I can rest my laptop in it. Memory card holders. This one holds my GoPro memory card, and then this one just holds all the rest of them. Awesome little design, and helps me keep track of them. Vintage Star Wars Boba Fett 3D printed version, so I can paint it up and then have my own to do whatever. Props. Here is a little Rebel sort of comlink medallion that I made and added some magnets to the back. This is resin printed, but this is another thing that you can make with the awesome technology that is 3D printing. You get the idea. I probably, I 3D print a lot of crap, but I love it. Anyway, back to actually building this planter. We're going to experiment with this rail planter system from the designer Lofted Goods. They're a little 3D print company that make these beautiful, I guess you could call them house planters, a lot of different products basically, and it's all around 3D printing. So I purchased the files from his Thangs website, and I'll put links to all of this below, and we're going to try and build this today. So I'll show you what it looks like. So we've got a few different components that we're working with today. First being a wooden dowel rod. Now this is some nice Tasmanian oak that we're going to be using for the base of this. Here is the holder that the dowel rod will sit through. Then we have what I like to refer to as the pot plant. So it's two pieces. The way that it works is there's a drip tray on the inside here. So when the water goes through, you can unzip it and then bang. So there's the two pots along with the drip tray, and then the dowel spot for it to connect onto the rod. So that's what we're working with today. I've printed 3 of these off. I've got the dowel. They're ready to be sort of sanded and then oiled up. But what I wanted to do is I picked a pretty awful filament color to begin with. And that's because this is what they had at the time. But the reason why I did that is because I wanted to experiment with spray painting it. What we're going to do now is just do a little test of spray paint and see how we're going. I'm going for a white neutral color. So we'll see how that looks. Yeah, we want to just sort of let them dry for a bit now, see how it settles, and then I'll go in and do the white prime, or not prime, the sort of top coat over that. And I've got a nice flat white here because I think it will look really good with the Tasmanian oak once that's been sanded and oiled up. A nice sort of aesthetically pleasing colour combo. Welcome to winter, grey, cloudy Melbourne skies. It's been a week since I last worked on the 3D print build project, and I made a terrible mistake by thinking I could spray paint multiple layers of different paints when we had a week full of rain. So what I've done since then is gone out and bought white filament, and I've 3D printed everything again. So the grey stuff, I'll probably use that for my own personal build later on. But anyway, let's get to sort of fixing up these prints and getting them ready.
Just don't let me go. Don't let me go. Don't let me go. Just don't let me go. Don't let me go. Don't let me go. Just don't let me go.
So, during the making of this, I've had a terrible injury where I stood up and I've done my lower back. Bang, look at that. Alright, so we now just have the other two. I've marked where I need to pre-drill the screws, and we will chuck that in. Okay, so we have now successfully built everything. It's all screwed in. I'm going to go to my local Bunnings now to look for some finishing oil to sort of seal the wood, because I like the raw colour of the Tasmanian oak, and this is a clear drying oil. It's called tongue oil. So we're going to go grab some of that, give it the wooden dowels a final sort of rub down and a seal, let them dry, and then just wait for this next big pot to print. And then we're pretty much done. So I'm excited to see how it all looks once it's completed. So we just got out of Bunnings. They did not have the oil I was looking for. And the other one that I was particularly thinking about getting, I read up and looked at the drying times. It was going to be 4 to 6 weeks, which that is not going to fit within the deadline I have of 7 days. So, and it's quite wet and rainy here this whole next week. So I think what we're going to ultimately do is just not oil it. But otherwise, we're just waiting for things to print now. But I did get distracted instead. Instead, I ended up buying tubs for my Star Wars cards and vinegar to clean things with. I got distracted. How good did that look in the end? If you've gotten this far in the video, you will have known that this didn't take me 1 day to build or 1 weekend. It actually took me 2 weeks to build it, and that was for July. We're now in August, so I'm very late with uploading this video. But what I wanted to sort of go over now at the end of the video is some of my favorite things about 3D printing. One of them is the ability nowadays to bring ideas to life. And what I mean by that is sort of like rapid prototyping. You're so quickly now able to come up with an idea, whether it's a little miniature, a toy, a sort of stationary organizer, a drink bottle, literally anything, sculpt it digitally, and then print it that same day and have a working physical prototype in front of you to look and feel. So it's so good at bringing things or ideas into the real world, which is something that I think is amazing as someone who likes to make things and create stuff. Secondly, the community is awesome. It's so much open source and knowledge and information out there in the internet where people share, give you tips, help you troubleshoot. And that's such a joy, considering some other communities I've been in for various other hobbies are quite gatekeepy, like photography, for example, or even 3D modeling when I first started doing that for like video games and things. It was totally different, where there was a lot of secrecy and people hiding their information or behind tools rather than sharing and growing everyone as a whole, where the 3D printing space has been the complete opposite for me in that regard. The other one is enabling and allow me to learn and acquire new skills. If it wasn't for 3D printing, I would not have gotten into hard surface modeling or trying to build more structural things like containers or holders for my camera or my gear, as well as even digital sculpting, because I couldn't physically use it. It would have just stayed on my iPad forever. Whereas now I can digitally sculpt a mini for my own D&D campaign and have that right there later on, which is just so incredible. So the pros to 3D printing, I think from my point of view, are huge. As someone who now has 2 resin printers and 1 filament printer, I love them. The one most important piece of advice I will give you is, if you are looking to get into this hobby, buy the biggest one you can get. I've made this mistake now 3 times with my resin printers and my filament printer. I first bought the Frozen Sonic Mini 4K resin printer, and it's amazing. I love it, but it is so small. And originally I thought, I'm just printing minis on this. That'll be fine. That's all I need it for. But then what happened? I started looking into terrain pieces, and then I couldn't print any of the terrain I wanted on that size print bed. So it forced me to upgrade to the Saturn printer. Now that is also incredible, but resin printing terrain is a bit of a pain in the ass for me because I'm very lazy. So I then went to a filament printer, which the Bamboo A1 Lab is the current one that I have, and it's incredible. I love that printer. It's awesome. It's very plug and play and very beginner friendly, and the whole ecosystem around it is incredible. The only problem is it still wasn't bigger, because then I got more into prop making and I realized, oh, you can just get printers that fully 3D print like a helmet, like the Master Chief one up there. So I thought, okay, I now want a bigger one. So my one piece of advice would be, buy the biggest one you can get within your budget and space. And yeah, don't bother with the small ones, because the more you enjoy this hobby and the more you get into it, you're going to want to make bigger things, or even other stuff that is going to be huge. So that's it for this video. I think the planter looked really good. My sister loved it, and I now have to finish the grey failure one for myself. But anyway, friends, thank you very much for watching this video. Stay tuned for the next one, because we're diving into my new D&D campaign, and I have a lot of crap I got to make for that. All right, like and subscribe and all that stuff if you want to. See you in the next.